Hey everybody, Shep Trades back with another video. September 13th here, 2025. We are looking at feeder cattle today. We're going to take a look under the hood with commitments of traders, data, as well as other fundamental indicators that are suggesting to me that feeder cattle here have topped and are likely to see a continuation of a downward move here, which has been set up for a long time. So let's talk about this setup first, and then we'll look at the technicals after. So on the top pane here, we are looking at the commitment to traders index, a COT index. The red line is the commercials. We see that they've been extremely short. Anything below this red line shows me that the commercials relative to the last 26 weeks are very short. And you'll notice though that they've been short for months, a very long time. They've been short actually for coming up on a year. Last October is when they got into this extreme short positioning, but we see that it's just been nothing but up the whole time. So what's interesting to me is in the last week we've had a bearish trend shift on the 20 period moving average, which we'll get to in a minute, which is one of my early trend change indicators. So we also see on this down move this week, we saw that the commercials started to reduce their short positioning. They're hedging into this down move by getting more long. Now, what else do we see? The last few weeks, and for several weeks and months in this case, we've seen extreme bullish advisor sentiment. So right at this bar here, we saw the advisors, this green line here, were extremely exuberant. They were very exuberant at a time when we know that the commercials are extremely bearish. So that's a nice juxtaposition. But what I really like to see is that this week, after this nice big down move that started here, we see on the weekly bar chart up the top, we see this starting to come across. So this sentiment coming across tells me that this move has some momentum. It's starting to get underway. The advisors are starting to tell their clients, maybe you should sell cattle, and that's going to add to the fuel to move this market further down. And we also look at valuation. For the last, since July, we've been overvalued versus gold. It's hard to see, but here's the gold line. We can see that this market, relative to the price of gold, which is a storehouse of value, we have been overvalued relative to gold. Now we see that coming down, coming across. Again, a nice confirmation that this move is starting. And also, as we all know, anybody that's been tracking this market knows that the commercials have been at an all-time extreme in short positioning. This red line is just the net positioning of the commercials, and that's at all-time extreme. And then we see that the large speculators, the blue line, have generally been at an all-time high in long positioning. But what's interesting is in this down move, we see that they're starting to reduce their extreme long positioning. They're actually covering their longs and getting more short. The trend followers, in other words, the trend following large speculators are going to get more short the more this move starts to unwind. So this is really looking like something that's quite interesting that is cooking up here. We also see generally open interest has been increasing for months, driven by the large specs, the blue lines getting more and more long. So the open interest that's higher is held by the weak hands, the people that are trend followers, the guys that are going to start shorting more as the momentum to the downside builds. We also have seasonals to the downside. So this overlaid on price, this blue line is the true seasonal for feeder cattle. We see we have a true seasonal to go down until a low in December. Now, that's the second last thing. The last thing as far as setup conditions goes is the paunch indicator here in the middle pane. And this is on the weekly bar. Whenever the ADX, this is an ADX with a 7 period. It's titled Williams Paunch in NinjaTrader, but it's just basically an ADX. Whenever this gets up above 60, which we see it's been up above 60, and then turns down, that's a major end of bullish trend indicator. That's a sign that there's major bearish momentum starting. So this combined, this is an entry trigger in and of itself actually, but this combined with the setup conditions, which is what we just reviewed, gives me a lot of reasons to believe that feeder cattle is finally going to have a down move. Now, what's the technical trigger that told me that this move is starting? Anybody that follows my channel knows that my main method for COT entry, or at least telling me that a COT trade is active to take active positions in, is the 20 period moving average trend change. So we have the 20 period moving average as the blue line. We had two full range bars below it, and I've marked the lowest low of those two bars here, which we see on Friday. We followed through below that low. That's the follow through concept taught by Larry Williams. And so that tells me that this trend is basically worth trading to the downside now, even though we have an upsloping 50 period moving average and an upsloping 200 period moving average. To me, the 20 period trend change that just happened combined with the setup condition suggests that shorts are high probability at this point in time. So that's what I'm looking to do, or that's what I see in feeder cattle. How could a person play this? Well, right now we're fairly oversold on the Williams percent R on the daily. What I'd like to see is I'd like to see this 20 period moving average start to flatten and decline, get a rally up into it, get overbought, and then enter on my hourly time frame with a trend change on that time frame. So that's what I'm looking for. I think right now feeder cattle may be ready to decline. Now, just want to point out, and this is the big thing with feeder cattle. It's been set up since way back here. Look at the last time that we got a 20 period moving average trend change happened right here. I got excited. I thought we were going to start going down. And then it just reversed right away and then just resumed to the upside. We had another 20 period trend change, or no, we didn't. That was only one back in January. But what I'm saying is just because this 20 period moving average trend change happened does not guarantee that this is the top in feeder cattle that has been evident based on positioning for quite some time. But this is how these moves starts. You get these 20 period moving average trend changes along with the setup conditions and pretty good track record for catching the tops here. So I'm looking to sell feeder cattle. Sounds crazy, but that's why, you guys. Now you know why. It's to do with the COT and other fundamental indicators. If you want to join my Discord, which is completely free, just shoot me an email to shepthetrader@gmail.com, where I basically share all my trades, setups. We talk about the markets. It's very focused on COT and also price action trading, trend following trading. Great group of guys in there. If you are a respectful individual and professional and want to join a like-minded crew of guys, shoot me an email. And I hope you found this video insightful. I'm curious also, what do you think is coming for feeder cattle? If you have any thoughts about what might be coming down the pipe here for feeder cattle, either bullish or bearish, make sure you drop a comment, like, subscribe, follow, all that good stuff. Have a good week, everybody. Bye-bye.